Is it a town name or a board game? Ciao a tutti. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. Alright, so today we're talking about 5 Italian words that I like. 2 of them I find useful and the other 3 are just personal favorites of mine. If today's video somehow added some positivity to your day, make sure you hit the like button. Cominciamo. Okay, so the first one is actually a phrase, and this is an example where the phrase is actually shorter in Italian than it is in English. And that phrase is che c'entra. Now, in my opinion, in English, we would need to use at least 7 words in order to say che c'entra. And this would be, what does that have to do with, and then whatever the subject is. Undoubtedly, there are probably other ways that you can say che c'entra in English, but the one that I just mentioned is the first one that comes to mind. Actually, I like how it sounds better in Neapolitan, and I believe they would say, che c'entra. The next one is just a personal favorite. It's actually a town. It's in the heart of Sicily. I had my wedding reception there, and my mother-in-law lives there, and this is the town of Caltanissetta. I don't know why, but the first time I ever heard the name Caltanissetta, for me, it just sounded like a board game. And I think I know why, because I remember years ago I played a hockey game in a town in New York, and it was called Schenectady, and I had the same reaction. Is that a board game? If it's hard to pronounce, don't worry. As a matter of fact, sometimes I hear them pronounce the word Caltanissetta on the news, and they can't pronounce it. Very often, they just say it with one S. Caltanissetta. Ho fatto bene? So my next one is somewhat similar to the first one in the sense that it's a word in Italian which would be a little bit longer in English, and this word is Mica. I translate this word to mean it's not like. So let me give you some examples. Suppose I had to take a plane ride for, 20 hours. Maybe I was going to New Zealand and I felt terrible. I would say, non è mica una cosa piacevole. It's not like it's something pleasant. That's a negative example of mica, but there's also a positive version. If I was eating some pasta and I wanted to give it a 6 or maybe a 7 out of 10, I would say, non è mica male questa pasta. This pasta's not bad. And it could also be a short response. You could say, mica male, not bad. The next one is purely a personal favorite of mine, and the English word is shins, or shin hock if we're talking about meat. And the word in Italian is stinko, or stinco di maiale. I like this word in particular because there are times when your mind plays tricks on you. You hear the Italian word stinko, but you revert back to your first language, and as you can guess, the word that comes to mind is stink. It gets even funnier if we're talking about the plural form, and this would be gli stinchi. I hope I pronounced that right. The last one is a tad vulgar, and it's not really offensive at all, really. And it's a personal favorite of mine because I've used it in many situations, and I use that to justify confusion and whenever I'm just not quite with it. And the word is Rincoglionito. Quite simply, you use this word when you're feeling a bit, If you wanted to use it in a sentence, then you would say, oggi sono proprio rincoglionito. Today I'm just not with it. That would be the English version. I like this one in particular because, as I said before, I've used it many times. It comes in real handy. Once I tell them that I'm a foreigner and that today I'm just rincoglionito, I get a big, vabbè, don't worry about it. Something else just came to mind, and this is for Italians or anybody who's learning Italian. And this is the passato remoto. For those of you who don't know, this quite simply is a verb tense that you would use when you're speaking and when you're telling a story and you're talking about things that happened a long time ago. Best example that I can give you is the Bible. Quite often they say, Jesus said, Gesù disse. I like this in particular because it's a whole other verb tense that you've got to learn when you're studying Italian. And it comes in handy when you're telling a story and you really want to put emphasis on the fact that something happened a long time ago. Unfortunately, it's not used a lot in everyday spoken Italian, but I do believe that it's used more in southern dialects. I wouldn't be surprised if there are random small towns here and there where it's still used. In fact, let's find out. Siete italiani? Usate il passato remoto? Lasciatemi un commento di sotto e raccontatemi tutto. Grazie. Oh, one last thing that I wanted to mention about the passato remoto. It is quite used a lot in the Sicilian dialects. As a matter of fact, my wife gave me an expression which clearly illustrates the point. There's an expression from Palermo that says, ora arrivò u ferry boat. Now the ferry boat is arriving. So I'm curious, what are some of your favorite Italian words? Which ones do you use, and are they any of the words that I mentioned here today? Leave me a comment below. I'd be curious to know. It's down there somewhere, the like button. Yeah, as soon as you find it, make sure you hit the like button. That'd be cool. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. I make videos about Italy, but more specifically, I give practical tips for living here, working here, vacationing, and more recently, I've done videos about Italian culture. Grazie mille per l'attenzione, ci vediamo alla prossima. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.